This is the Silver Dart, the very first aircraft to fly in Canada under power. It flew in 1909, February, I think it was February 3rd or 20th, somewhere in there. It flew from Bedeck, Nova Scotia on the ice at Bredor Lake. It was built by Alexander Graham Bell and his crew of the Aeronautical Aircraft Association. His wife provided all the funds for it. She was the money manager in that. It was a biplane, as you can see. It had an engine that they considered was 80 horsepower at the time, but by today's standards, it would have been about 18 horsepower. So it was very lucky to get off the ground. It had a tricycle landing gear, which differed from the Wright brothers plane. The Wright brothers needed a catapult to get their plane off the ground, whereas this took off under its own power. We're building a half-scale model here. The half-scale model is 24 feet wingspan. We're putting a wooden engine in it so it won't fly. The front is made of bamboo. Now bamboo, weight for weight, is stronger than steel. And then what they used in the original was all Sitka spruce for the ribs and that. We've made ours out of birch because Sitka spruce is very expensive now. Mary is making the covering for the wings, and they're all laced together, as you can see on the bottom section here that we've got pretty well finished. It was also the very first plane to have ailerons. They are the triangle pieces at the ends of the wings. They were Alexander Graham Bell had the patent on ailerons, and in 1914 he gave that patent to the U.S. government. Again, it was a water-cooled engine because these early airplanes did not fly fast enough for the air-cooled engines to get enough air over them to cool them, so they kept seizing up on people. So they put actually what they're doing right now is fitting the fake radiator in that we've built. It was just a whole bunch of copper pipes. You can see they're just drilling the holes to put it in right now. Again, it's all laced together. Mary has done an excellent job of getting the fabric on the wings. It's starting to look like something now, whereas before it just looked like a bunch of sticks and wires. Hopefully we can get it on the wheels pretty soon. They're over on the corner there. They're just bicycle wheels. So once they get on there, we'll have to see what happens. This is, like I say, half the size of the original. The original was about 50 feet. Yeah, the original was about 50 feet long, and the first flight was in February 12th, 1909. Again, the bamboo in the front. There's the canard, which is there on the wall. That was it's the modern day elevator is really what that would call, but they had it in front, so it's called a canard. Also, the rudder is back on the wall as well back there. Okay, these are all half size. And there was a steering wheel that's got to go in yet. I don't know, it's around here somewhere. It's over behind this workbench. That steering wheel moved the rudder when they pulled it back and forth, and it also used the wheel. It turned the wheel out front of the tricycle landing gear. This was a kind of an odd plane. When it took off, it went up on its front wheel first. It was like a wheelbarrow. It was kind of tricky to fly. The fellow that flew it in 2009 was a Canadian astronaut, Bjorny. I can't pronounce his last name, but he when asked about how it flew, he said he was terrified. He said he'd rather go into space. But he said it was difficult to fly. But he got it up in the air and he flew it around, and it did get up under its own power. They had a different engine, of course. The original engine was 8 cylinders, again water cooled. It when they tried to show it to the Army in Petawawa, it landed in sand, and the wheels didn't turn in sand, and it flipped over and crashed and destroyed it. And the engine went into a fishing boat, and the boat sank, and it stayed down for about 40 years, and then somebody dredged the engine back up again, and it was cleaned up, and it's now in the museum in Ottawa. It doesn't run anymore, obviously. I don't know. It's taken us about 2 years to get this far in the construction. And we figure at least another year, because there's quite a bit of work to do yet. You got to figure out the steering wheel. We haven't really figured that out yet, and we've got to put the rudder back on. It comes out to, I would say another 3 or 4 feet back here from where we're standing. The rudder is behind that, so. We've got that figured out. It's just space constraints. We haven't got it on yet, but we have had it on. But the canard is a bit of a problem. We had to get pieces specifically welded for the canard and also for the front wheel. We had to get a fellow I know to weld all those, and he did a good job on it. Don't know what else. It's all on stands right now, stanchions to keep it to keep the shape of it. The bottom wing is dihedral and the top wing is anhedral. So that means the top wing slopes down, the bottom wing comes up. So that's the way it was built. It was actually built by J.D. McCurdy, and it was flown by J.D. McCurdy. It was built in Hammondsport, New York, and then transported to the drawer. Well, here comes they're coming in with the Radiator now. That's what Radiator is. We made it out of just plastic tubing, but the original was copper, and it cooled the engine quite well, especially on a day when the ice was on Brador Lake. Yeah, they took off on the ice on Brador Lake both times. So this is the pilot seat here. You're looking at the back side of it where the radiator goes, but it was just a little wooden seat that he sat on. When they flew the replica in 2009, there was actually a lawn chair that they put in there for him to sit on. They strapped it all in, and he sat on that. And they put rudder pedals in rather than the original had a yoke that he twisted his hips, and the yoke moved the ailerons. But they changed it to a more conventional. There we go. There's the radiator is being installed.
Yeah, so going from the top.
Yeah.
There it is.
Do you want to?
On all 4 of them.
And right after this, the gas tank is going to be installed. I don't think we'll be doing that today, but the gas tank goes up here. It's a bullet shape. You can come to the Canadian Aviation Museum at the airport. It's between the Flying Club and Journey Air. Yeah, come on out and have a look. We have much more than just this, but you can see our project as it's progressing at the airport, at the museum actually. So again, there's a lot more to see here than just this.